have some very, very exciting news that we want to share, keep you guys updated. Things are going great, and I know we did a little bit sneak peek over the weekend, and if you haven't seen it, we're going to show you guys right now what to expect. So, yeah.
So this is going to be sort of like the final update of all the final pieces that have been designed and even been manufactured already. So they're going to be getting shipped out right away. So we're still going to be able to make the delivery date of the end of October into early November. But since we made some changes, we just want to let you guys know all the cool upgrades that we did and why there was that delay, because I think everything is so much better because we took that about 2-week delay. So we just wanted to let you know what that delay got you out.
Yes, and then at the end, we're going to show you guys what you guys got yourself into and what you guys are going to expect at the end of it. So, yes, and saying that, we're going to just show you guys and dive right into all the changes and what to expect with the parts and why there was that delay. Perfect.
So we have some awesome updates that we wanted to show you. These were the reasons why we had some delays. So a big part of this is we don't want to be sending out anything that has issues because it's just not good for anybody. So we wanted to make sure we tested, we didn't have issues before we started mass production. And so these are the things that we improved that made the system way, way better. And these are everything that you're going to be receiving. So originally we had our level gauge. The level gauge, it had indents of the different levels, but you can't see any of them. So instead we remade it and it's just going to be printed on like you see here. But now you can read it, it's much, much better and functional, which is a big part of it. From our last update, we had issues with this water pillar warping when we would do the tests. So to combat that, what we did instead was it's 2 separate pieces now. If you can kind of see that. And then because it's 2 separate pieces, it makes it much, much less likely that it's going to warp because it is sort of a complex profile. And then we slide the piece in, glue it, and it's ready to go. Same thing, we've tested this, it works, it seals, and it's much, much more reliable, which means that you're not going to have any issues. Next was our power pillar, so this is sort of the final view of it. Nice white cord, and then the female and male on each end. And then the way the clips are designed, it's designed so that you cannot assemble it wrong. So that means that when you're doing the assembly, it's very, very simple for you to put everything together. Now we're on to our splittable cups. So this is probably the one I'm the most excited about. They turned out fantastic. So they simply come together like puzzle pieces, like you can see there. They come apart really, really easily. They fit the previous generation of the Eden Garden. They fit the plugs the same as every other one that we had from before. The locking mechanisms work the same as everyone from before. And this is probably going to be what we go forward with all of our systems in the future. It turned out fantastic. Very excited about that upgrade. So this is the pet-proof hanger. So you'll notice that there's some screw holes on the back. Those screw holes are going to be for drywall screws that'll be included. So those are ones you can actually mount into the drywall and then screw into it. So you don't necessarily need to find a stud. Those will be included with the system. And what's really cool about these is that you can pick any side of the tray that has the clips and they just snap into place really easily. Of course, well, bear with me. It's just an awkward angle that we're going for here. There we go. And then it just mounts to the wall. And you can do this with any of the sides that has the clips. So that gives you a lot of options on where you want to mount it. And once that's in there, there's no way that it's going to be coming apart. So I'm just going to flip this around. We'll show you the lights. These are the lights. So the tray is where the majority of the delays happen. It was just multiple, probably about 5 or 6 different iterations to just try and get everything perfect. The light was one. We wanted it to clip in nice and easy, which meant getting things like just perfect so that it snaps into place like that. And now, I mean, I can lift up the tray from the lights and of course they don't fall off. That was important because we want to make sure that these are interchangeable, but they're also nice and tight so you don't have to worry about them coming off, obviously. From here, your cord just plugs into the electrical really, really simply. Now, where we spend most of the time in delays, this has, like I said, probably about 6 different iterations by the time we've gotten to this point. So one of the big changes that we did was we brought it from 5 pieces down to 1 piece, which means that there's way less likely to warp. It's going to be way more consistent when we manufacture it. The next piece is that we put these indents up to hold the lid. Kind of a small thing, but it's going to make it so that the system is nice and flat and just looks a lot better. All of this is raised, so when you make clips in manufacturing, you have to have holes in order to have the molds go through. So to prevent any chance of water coming down to the lights, these are all raised, so any water would just basically flow off to the side. Again, just an additional protection that we wanted to include. The water, in the event that for whatever reason the water was to get too high, whether for whatever reason, we're just trying to think of any possibility, there's an overflow sort of cap here, so it kind of leaves it so it'll fill up, but if it gets too high, it's going to spill over and go right to the drain. That makes it so that there's no way that it's going to actually overflow the tray. It would always end up going to your drain. And those are kind of the main key features that we wanted to make sure we got right, primarily the lights, and then of course the fitting of the pillars. This was a lot of testing just to make sure everything fits nice and tightly, because if you have a little bit of play at the bottom, by the time you get to the very top, that's a lot of play. So the thing fits very tightly. And then just to kind of show you an example of how the electric would come together. So, I already got this backwards. Bear with me. I do know how to assemble this. So you put your 3-way plug in, and then the electrical would actually just push into place like that. And there you go. That's your electrical, and then you would do the same for the water side. So once you do that for 4 different layers, you're going to be surprised how cool it looks. Yes. I guess one last little bit would be, and we've had a comment a few times that it looks really, really thin, right? So it doesn't look like it's that deep for the roots, but what you'll notice is that it actually goes down further. So it's sort of a bit of a optical illusion. It looks like it's floating, kind of part of the design. Now, if you're still a little concerned that it doesn't look deep enough for the roots, it's the exact same depth that we have for our Eden garden. And we've had tremendous success with that. We basically replicated it around the light. And so if it works for the Eden garden, we're confident it's going to work for the Eden tower.
Now for the reveal. So once you guys get all of this assembled and the trays, what is it going to look like? So we're going to show you guys with the extended layers. So the extended was part of the stretch goals, and this is what it's going to look like.
Gotcha.
This is what it looks like. So it is fairly tall. It looks amazing. And again, it looks like the trays look like thin and like they're floating, but they're definitely thick enough. And then this is the extended layer where you can grow your beans and your tomatoes, and then it just goes up, up, up. And yeah, that's what your gardens are gonna look like.
And just to show now with all of the changes and all the iterations we did, the difference something like that makes is lifting up from the bottom of a tray. I can lift up the entire system without it coming apart. And there's a bit of weight there, so that's how tight everything is, which means she's solid.